Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Peter Eastway. Thank you. Good morning, judges. Good morning, live audience here in the room with us. Thank you. And good morning to our onliners. My name's Robin Hills. I'm going to be your panel chair this morning. And assisting me is Greg Farmer. And out the back, we have Alex, Ryan, and Gina are our print handlers for this session. Thank you so much. Wild applause going on here. And also we'd like to welcome Warwick Williams from Fuji, and he's our sponsor for this category, and he's going to say a few words.
Yes, thank you very much. Yeah, I've actually discovered it really is worthwhile collecting those stickers, because just a few minutes ago I had to present someone with a brand new X Pro 2 limited edition kit. So I think the lady involved was rather surprised that the stickers did actually result in getting something. So I'm actually happy because now she says she wants to get another couple of lenses. Anyway, Fujifilm is very happy to sponsor the landscape event, and I think it's fantastic to see how other people see the world and are able to present that. As part of my job, I also wear a hat where I'm part of what they call the worldwide team in Tokyo, and I have the great privilege of taking back feedback to Tokyo, and that can be praise, it can be critical, or maybe we need to add some things that aren't on the cameras. If there is something about a Fuji camera that you like, you don't like, or you'd like to see, come and see me, because the first week of September, basically in about a week and a half, I'll be over there telling the designers what we need on future products. And this does actually come to pass. There are some bits and pieces on even this camera. I can say, hey, I did that. So, really, you did that. So thank you very much. And please keep shooting and keep printing those pictures and save that history. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Warwick. And on behalf of all of us at the AIPP, I would like to say thank you for your sponsorship and support of APPA and the AIPP in general. I would also like to thank and acknowledge Olympus, Aeon and Panasonic as platinum sponsors of APPA. Your support of this entire event is very much appreciated. So let me introduce our judges this morning for this panel. We've got Greg Hocking from Western Australia, and he's a Grand Master of Photography. We have Peter Eastway from Sydney, and he is also a Grand Master. And he's previously won the Professional Photographer of the Year twice.
The older I get, the better I used to be.
Yes, and he's got some very cheeky comments. Kay Davis is from New Zealand, and she is also a Grand Master. We have Nuran Zulu from Sydney, and he is a Master with 1 bar. Jackie Dean is also from Sydney, and she is a Grand Master and a Fellow of the Institute. Craig Wetchen is from Melbourne, and he is a Master with 1 bar. Thank you. So we have a very talented team here this morning to look at your photographs and give you some fabulous feedback. So we're just going to read out the information about the category. So this is the landscape category, and landscape images that depict the natural or urban environment. Entries may be interpretive. In other words, they need not be a literal image of a scene. Judges in this category are asked to consider both traditional and contemporary values, camera technique, print quality, composition, and light. This category will be judged in 2 sections, landscape single capture and landscape open. Open entries may utilise all post-production techniques, including the use of multiple images or elements to produce the entry. Single capture entries may utilise in-camera multiple exposures and all post-production, excluding the addition of any new elements to the original capture. This includes borders and textures. Although the category is judged in 2 sections to assist the judges in their assessment, there is only 1 award. Any questions? Cool. Can we have the first print, please? Thank you. We have our first score for the day and an average of 76. And Peter Eastway, could we get you to make a comment to assess the entrant?
Love the, I'm strong there. Love the composition. Just maybe look at your highlights in the printing and maybe just keep them down. That may come down to the original exposure. And that was 9.3 seconds. I think I've done it okay.
Well done. Thank you very much. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 79. And as the scores are quite close together, it will go for a review at the end of this category. Nuran, can we have a comment from you to help the photographer?
Lovely image again, but the color palette actually is not in balance, and that's it. Yeah, color palette is it can be improved. Is the color worked up individually?
Thank you very much. Next print, please. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you. We have a silver with distinction, 85. And Jackie, a comment for you to let the photographer know what you enjoyed about this photo.
Well, it's such a cryptic image, and I'm really enjoying that splash of unknown orange. I have no idea what it is, but it has just wonderful qualities, beautifully printed.
Thank you very much. Next print, please. So just for our information, the category we're judging is the single capture landscapes. Thank you. We have an average score of 79, and the scores are quite close together, so it will go for review at the end of the category. Could we have Peter a comment for the photographer?
I'm struggling as where to look, I guess. There's some really nice uses of light in the foreground and the background, but maybe we've got one or two pictures and it would have been better perhaps to have focused on one aspect or another.
Thank you very much. Next print, please. Thanks, Jackie and Yoran. Thank you. We have an average score of 83, Silver Award. Thank you, Greg. Greg would like to challenge. Greg's on 88. You've got some company. Kay's on 88. You've got an 84 and 278s.
I think this image has just a beautiful sense of place and time. The snow, rain, sleet, or whatever it is, effect there just, to my eye, takes me there, makes me experience this not only just as an image, but as an experience. I can feel that cold. I can, kind of hear the hawks kind of howling in the distance, or the wolves, or whatever's there. I think it's just a shot which is one which draws me in and gives me this experience. I think it's above just a silver. It takes a step further, simply because of the way that it can take you to actually feel things. So you can feel the cold.
Greg.
It's just not the light that's working here.
Thank you very much. Jackie on 78.
Yeah, I'm hearing what you're saying, Greg. I find the image quite flat, and the snowflakes, or whatever they are, I find so distracting. But I'm listening to what you're saying. I'm still finding the image, it's an intriguing image, but if we take the snowflakes away, what are we left with? And that's what I'm looking at.
Thank you, but we have got snowflakes, so that's what we're presented with. Thank you, Kay on 88.
Yeah, I really enjoy this image too. I don't find it flat at all. I find there's a lot of depth in there. We've got the beautiful subtleness in the background that is you still see that detail of the hills and the trees in the background. It's the snowflakes that really add that sense of meaning and feeling and communication to what we're actually looking at here. The colour palette is just so subtle that it's not a not a black and white image. It's actually a monochromatic image, but it's very, very subtle tones of greens that are coming through, which adds to that depth. Just the feeling and you get from what the photographer's done and the technique that they've used is they've brought a lot to this image, and that's why I've put it in the silver distinction range.
Thank you, Kay. Greg, your right of reply.
Yes, I would just like to encourage the judges to kind of look past what normally we would look at as an imperfection, and that is, kind of maybe some water on the lens or whatever. I think this is a deliberate act to kind of take you to another level there of maybe feeling the snow on your face. If you look closely into the image, you can see it's a little bit of breeze there, a little bit of a flurry. It's just taking it, in my mind, just that little bit further than just a low silver. I think that we should encourage that. There's another thought, there's another level of communication here.
Thank you very much. Greg's score of 88 is locked in. The current average is 83. Judges, please rescore now. Thank you, and it goes to 85, silver distinction. Nice teamwork. Thank you. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 79, and the print will go for review at the end of the category. Could we have a comment, please, Peter?
I'd look at the overall tonality of the picture. It's a wonderful abstract, but just a little bit on the light side, perhaps down on the bottom right-hand corner, and my eye goes down to there. So just revisit the tonal mapping.
Thank you very much. Next print, please. Oh, sorry. Can I just wait for a moment? Thank you, Nuran. Thank you. We're just going to keep rolling the judges through to give everyone a turn. Joining us now is Craig Wetchen. Thank you. Next print, please. Thank you. We have a majority score of 84. And Jackie would like to challenge. Jackie's on 90. You've got an 87, 84, and two 83s.
I think the texture and the luminosity flowing through this image is absolutely amazing. And it's like something out of another planet. And all those lovely little filigree things coming out of the white area is absolutely exquisite. And we're sitting on 84 and I'm staggered. It's absolutely beautiful.
So all of the judges' opinions are valid. And we're going to hear from Greg, an 83.
Yeah, look, I possibly have been a little tough. The closer I look, I can see exactly what you're saying, and I agree. Probably initially I had a little bit of an issue with, and it's maybe because it's water, and quite often things in water can look a little bit soft and what have you, but it's really the water when you think about it, because you're looking through the water to what's the surface. So I am very happy to modify my score, and I'd just like to listen to maybe one or two other people just comment about the work. I'm actually seeing other things in this graphically, and the more I look at it, the more I am starting to enjoy this outer world thing that you're talking about, Jackie. Yep.
Thank you. Craig, 84.
Yeah, look, I'm really seeing I'm hearing you, but I find the crop is probably a little bit loose. I would have probably tightened it up a little bit, because I do find some elements of, body form going on in there, but I'm listening a little bit further in your interpretation of the shot.
Thank you. Kay, briefly.
Yeah, I'm enjoying the next level of communication that this image is bringing to my, what I'm seeing. I'm seeing it as a woman's uterus almost, in terms of that the lifeblood of nature, which is what it is. I guess what held me back from going to gold was literally the quality, maybe in the water, but and maybe the cropping too, like Craig mentioned. But I'm listening. But yeah, that's probably what's just holding me back at this point.
Thank you. Jackie, back to you.
Well, it's such an unusual image, and for me, it's very cryptic. I see lots of wonderful elements in there about nature and life.
Thank you. Jackie's score of 90 is locked in. The current majority score is 84. Judges, please rescore now. And it goes to silver distinction 86. Thank you very much. Next sprint, please. And while our judges are jumping up and jogging up to the screen, we're saving time for great conversation. Thank you. So just to explain to the audience, when I announce a by majority score, that means that the average score might have been 1 or 2 points away, but there has to be at least 3 judges in the same 5-point score range for it to receive a final score. So it is actually a team decision. So even though one judge might be way up the top or way down the bottom, it's still a team decision. Thank you. We have a silver with distinction, 85. Thank you. And could we have a comment, Craig?
Yeah, look, I think to take it to the next level, I think just lessen the height of the top, just tighten that crop a bit. I probably would have been going gold. I think there's probably just too much at the top.
Okay, thank you very much. Next sprint, please. Thank you. By majority, we have a score of 79, and the scores are quite close together, so it will go for review at the end. And could we, Jackie, have a comment from you?
Yeah, I find because there's no sort of focal element in this picture that sort of draws you in, I'm finding it, I think it would be improved.
Jackie, just right into the microphone.
All right.
Thank you.
Is that better?
Yes.
Yeah. There's a distracting element just in the front bottom half of the picture, and the balance, I feel it would be improved if there was more foreground.
Thank you very much. Next sprint, please. Thank you. We have a silver award at 83. Thank you.
I'd like to challenge that.
Jackie, can you do that really decisively? Pop your
Sorry.
hand straight up in the
Yeah,
air and
sorry.
say challenge.
I was just doing my maths.
It should show on your
Yeah,
screen
yes,
that you can
yes.
challenge.
Okay.
Yep. Thank you.
Um,
And Jackie, so you've got a 87, 83, 81 and a 78.
oh, okay. Well, I'd like to see this going up to, I scored it a silver distinction. I just see planet Earth and everything that happens in planet Earth. We've got the snow, we've got the trees, and I'm just enjoying the texture. And the thing that pulled it down for me was the big clump of snow on the left. It just seems quite clumsy with the rest of the image, which is quite exquisite.
Thank you. Peter on 78.
I'd like to applaud the composition and the creativity, the idea. What has let it down for me is the print quality, the exposure, and possibly even the light that was chosen to use to take the photograph. So I'd like to, I've scored at 78. I don't think it has that spark that puts it into the award category, but I'm Robinson Crusoe, so congratulations to the author.
Thank you. Kay on 87.
Yeah, I actually find this a really interesting image, and I guess that's what I'm putting it in terms of the imagination. I have no problem at all with that clump of snow on the left hand side. I think that actually creates a balance within the image, and I think the perspective that the photographer's brought to it. We normally see aerials as from quite a distance, but the photographer's actually giving us a really close-up observation, but we're also seeing the detail in the trees and reflecting in the water. The tyre tracks essentially going through the puddle. I think there's so much narrative within this image, and that's where I've scored it. I don't find the print quality too bad in terms of, I would have scored it gold if I'd actually felt, it could be improved, but that's where I've put it in silver distinction.
Thank you. Jackie, back to you.
Yes, it does have that sort of grungy look, and which I'm quite enjoying. And it's a sort of monochromatic print, and it works.
Jackie's score of 88 is locked in. The current average is 83. Judges, please rescore now. Thank you, and it goes to 85, silver distinction. Thank you. Next print, please. Peter and Craig, I don't have your scores. Thank you. Thank you. We have a silver award, 82. Thank you. Craig, a comment?
Yeah, I probably would have gone a little bit higher if you controlled the highlights through that middle part on the rocks.
Okay, thank you very much. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 74. Peter, could you give us a comment to help the photographer?
I think the photographer is to be congratulated for the composition and the idea leading in, but those highlights up in the sky are, they haven't met professional standards. So on the way, but a little bit of work to go.
Thank you very much. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 79. The scores are quite close, so we'll go for review at the end. Could we have, Greg, a comment from you to help the photographer?
Yes, I think that it's just a slight issue with composition and the vanishing point of the bridge versus the negative space in the sky. It's just a little bit out of balance, I feel.
Thank you very much. And on that helpful note, Greg, we're going to give you a little break for a little bit. Please don't leave the room. Thank you. And Nuran is going to join us again. Next print, please. Scores, please, judges. Thank you. We have an average score of 74. Craig, thank you very much.
I think you ditch the sky. Change the cropping.
Okay, things to investigate. Thank you. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 77. Craig would like to challenge on 88. So you've got a 78, 2 75s and a 70.
Go hard or go bold.
Sorry, Craig. Just before you start, my apologies to the entrant and to you. It's actually an automatic challenge because you're 11 points away from the average. So because you're the one that triggered the challenge, just to explain it clearly for everybody, an automatic challenge is where there's a judge that is at more than 10 points or more away from the average. So it's not a right of reply. So you only get to speak once. So because you triggered the challenge, we'll get you to speak first. So bravely and with conviction. And then we're going to hear from Kay on 70. And we'll talk to someone else after that. Thank you, Craig.
So as I said, go hard, go bold. I'm looking at this shot, the graphical elements, beautiful balance that's going on. You got some beautiful leading lines going through. You just keep balancing your way through it. So I'm really I'm intrigued by this on so many levels. One, I really enjoy the print quality is very exciting. The composition, the perspective, the leading lines, the angles, and the drama that's going on in the background. But then you're left with this sense of peacefulness of architecture in and amongst this. Who knows where that sky is leading us to? So I'm really intrigued by this, and that's why I scored it a silver with distinction from the point of view, the ingenuity, the craftsmanship, print quality. I really encourage you guys to really look at this. I see you guys are holding up crop marks. I think it sits really, really well as a square composition. So silver distinction, 88 is where I scored it. I think you guys really need to have another hard look at it. And not only that, there's some neat little birds in there. It's taking us on a nice little journey.
Thank you very much, Craig. And we're going to hear from Kay on 70.
I when this turned around in the walkthrough, I really enjoyed what I was looking at. But I guess when I'm seeing the print, I'm actually not rewarded in terms of the print quality. I enjoy all of those things that you said about it, the graphical nature, I think. And I wouldn't crop it. I was trying, but I wouldn't crop it. I think it has a massive strength in that, and the photographer's seen something really interesting. It's the print quality that lets me down. There's some weird things going on where the clouds are actually joining into the structure. Down the bottom it's sharper, in the middle it's actually really soft. And the sky, for some reason, down the bottom left-hand corner is doing something strange as well. So for me, it's the print quality that's letting it down, the image quality, and that's why I can't put it into an award range.
Thank you, Kay. We're going to hear from Peter on 78.
I agree with you, Kay. I think that the image itself is a little bit flat, and there's a lot of drama and potential in those clouds, and I would like to have seen them developed a little more.
Thank you very much. So the average score is 77, and as it is an automatic challenge, every judge can change their score if they wish to. So having listened to the debate, please re-enter your scores now. And it goes to 78. So, great discussion. I'm sure the entrant enjoyed it. Next print, please. Thanks, Jackie. Thank you. We have an average score of 88, silver with distinction. Jackie's challenging. Thank you. Jackie's on 91, so you've got 89, 88, 87, 86.
Wow. Well, the presentation of this image is so beautiful, and I'm really enjoying the edges. It's like a painting to me, and this starburst of tree that sort of pops out. It's absolutely beautiful. It's a natural shot, but it looks like a painting. I'm enjoying the composition is superb. My eye just keeps going around and wanting to. I'm sucked into this image, and I scored it a 91. I really would like to see this image going to a gold.
Thank you, Jackie. We're going to hear from Craig 86.
Yeah, the more I'm sitting here looking at it, if you really stand back, this is an image where you stand back, not look up close. You stand back, and Kay's got a prime position over here, right front and center. It's got amazing depth perception going on here. So you really see some three-dimensionality going on here. I'm coming for a ride with you. So let's see what everybody else wants to go on this.
Nuran on 89.
I just put in high silver, but I think for being a gold, and I'm very happy to listen a bit further, but being gold needs a bit more ingenuity. I mean, this is very nicely captured, beautiful photograph, but for a gold award, I think we need to have a bit more elements in here, and it's gorgeous image, but again, for gold, I just want to see a bit more extra.
Thank you, Nuran. Briefly from Peter.
Yeah, I'm not quite too sure about the soft edges, whether it actually adds to it. I'm liking the fact that the technical use of sharpening has really created that beautiful texture in there, but I'm comfortable with it as a silver with distinction. I don't, that's where I'm happy to sit.
Thank you. Back to you, Jackie.
Well, I've heard all the judges, and it's obviously a superb image, and for me, it's in the gold category, and I award the judge of the photographer for this beautiful image.
Thank you. Jackie's score of 91 is locked in. The current average is 88. Judges, please rescore now. And it goes to 89, silver with distinction. Congratulations. Which also means it will go for review at the end of the category, being 89. So, thank you. Next print, please. Thank you. We have a silver award, 83. And Kay, a comment, please.
Really enjoyed the image, a delicate balance of the tree and the leaf and the thing. Maybe just an evenness of the tonal range, just to balance a little bit more. Tends to be headed a little bit weighted too much to the right.
Thank you very much. Next print, please. Thank you, judges. Can we promptly put in our scores? We're going to save our precious time for discussion. Thank you. We have a silver award, 81. Thank you. Nuran, could you give some feedback to the entrant?
And I think it's actually that the elements of 6 doesn't work for me. I prefer to be in bit odd numbers. If I need to be, I think the one in the camera left need to be cropped.
Thank you very much. Next print, please. Is too loud? The volume. Craig, can you just check your score has sent to us, please? Thank you. We have by majority a score of 80, and as it is an automatic challenge, I think it's worthwhile discussing it. Craig, you've actually triggered the challenge because you're actually 11 points under the average. And my apologies, it's Nuran. No? It's Kay. I know you don't want to challenge. And so you're happy just to call it as a, yep, we'll leave it go. We will ask for a comment from Peter.
I scored this silver because I felt it was a brave photograph. It was out there, it was different, and that's why we've got quite a range of scores here, because it is a challenging image. But I like the foreground and I like the challenge and the different colour up there, so I think it's worked well.
Lovely. Thank you very much. Oh, we have to take the challenge. Oh, so thank you. And so thank you. We've just got such a diversity of scores, and so it is an automatic challenge. So to work with our system, we have to take the challenge. Thank you. So we're going to hear from Kay on your score of 69.
I mean, can I refer to what, since that he's already mentioned?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and so it is an automatic challenge, so everyone will be able to move their scores. So please talk about what you saw in the image.
I guess, Peter, what you said, it is a challenging image. And I guess for me, I wasn't 100% sure that the actual technique really actually worked for the image. And I found the colour palette overpowering for the image. And possibly even the cropping didn't sit well for me. So that's where I scored it, just under approaching professional standard.
Thank you. And perhaps we can hear from Nuran.
And I agree with Kay in this instant, and just like the cropping, I'm looking for a bit more edges on that cloud. Like I think it has to be a bit broader. I don't know also where to look at an image as well. I'm just seeking for focal point in an image as well.
Thank you very much. And Craig on 84.
That's what's exciting me, is the fact that it's a challenging image. Peter said it, it's a challenging image. I'm really challenged by the color palette here. It's got a very watercolor, painterly feel. And I scored it at 84, a solid silver. For the boldness of the color palette choice. Not only that, they've chosen a slightly slower shutter speed for the foreground to have this motion, so really get a great sense of motion, and I get this great sense of explosion in the clouds, and the color palette, it's sublime. It really is enjoyable. It's got a silver. We're talking about it
by majority, yes.
So let's just rescore it and stick it back into the silver range.
Thank you, Craig. So as it is an automatic challenge, everyone can move their score. The majority score currently is 80. So judges, having listened to the debate, please rescore now. Thank you. Worthwhile discussion. Silver award, 81. Thank you. Good teamwork. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 76. And can we get a comment from Peter? Thank you.
Love the composition, really strong. Maybe just a little bit heavy in the tonality, not just the colour, but just a little bit heavy up the top, and because the bottom is a little bit light, so unbalanced.
Thank you very much. And then on that very helpful note, Peter, we can just going to give you a little break for a minute. Thank you. Greg Hocking, could you come in and join us, please? Thank you very much. And next print, please. Scores, please, judges. Thank you very much. We have an average score of 77. Nuran would like to challenge. You're on 82. You've got quite a score range to work with. 81, 78 and a 68.
This one is one beautiful landscape. It's been seen by a photographer. It's and also presented to us in very abstract way with that colors. And I'm going to go to the negative first. And if it's a foreground actually with darker, would have make a very nicer, higher score. But saying that one, it's really enjoyable to see all that colors that actually put in this sort of landscape. It can be real. I know it's been exaggerated, the colors, but you have a great communication with me in this point of time. And it's I can feel it actually, and the print quality is very good as well for liking. But I think we are in 77. We have to celebrate, congratulate the author for coming out with an image like this and
Thank
deserve
you,
a silver.
Craig on 68.
Look, I'm really the color palette is extremely disturbing. I scored it a 68, and I apologize to the photographer out there, but I scored it where it needs the development and control of the color, because this has got so much potential. It's just too blue heavy. It's just not exciting at all.
Thank you. Greg on 81.
I didn't actually mind the hypersaturated colours. You know, it just kind of showed me the structure of the rock and the minerals and what have you. It's almost, you know, kind of like an infrared approach if you could do such a thing with a rock. So, you know, I just looked at it and thought, well, you know, the photographer is just trying to exaggerate the topography and geology. I also think that the design works. There's a flow there. I tend to agree that the rock in the foreground is a little bit heavy, you know, and that could probably improve a crop or so. So look, I was giving the photographer the benefit of the doubt. I quite enjoy the image in a geological way.
Thank you. Back to you, Nuran.
And everything's said, but again, if it's slightly bit better cropped, it would go higher. But while we have this image, it's very enjoyable, and all that palette works very well. I think deserve a silver range, and I'd like to invite the judges to come to silver with me.
Thank you. Nuran's score of 82 is locked in. The current average is 77. Judges, please rescore now. And judges, have you entered your scores? Yes. Can we have a blank screen, please? And can we have a techie? Because I don't have your scores up here at all. Oh, they've all crashed. Okay. Well, it was nothing you did, Nuran, believe me. So can you just all make a note of your scores, judges? So if you've got them or you can remember them, lovely. So when we get back on. Alrighty, so just for our live streamers, all the rooms have had a similar problem. So we'll sort that out shortly. So let's... Oh, Peter Eastway is saying, tell us about yourself. I was going to start picking on the judges. Okay, right. Peter wants to know about my necktie. I'm wearing a necktie today, and I actually print my photographs onto fabric, and they get hand-tailored in Australia and made into neckties and scarves. So I have some wearable art, and this is one of my aerial designs called Aerial Art, and it was a series of images. Okay, this is going to sound a bit yuppie now. Hey, I'm off the hook. So we have scores. So can we have the print back? To be continued. Thank you, judges. And we have your scores have all come through, and the average score has gone from 77 to 78. So thank you very much. Good feedback for the entrant. And next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 77. Okay. Thank you very much. Can we have a comment from Craig? Thank you.
I just think it's just over vignetted.
Okay. Thank you very much. Next print, please. Thank you very much. And for our audience information, if one of our judges steps back at any time, they can do that. They do not have to tell us why they're doing it. They may have seen the photo before. They may know who it belongs to. They might have judged it before. And in total fairness to the photograph, the judge just simply steps back, and we have reserve judges for them to capably come in. Thank you. We have an average score of 69. Jackie, can we have a comment, please, to help the photographer?
Yeah, I've scored this as 65. It's below professional practice. The shadows are all clogged up, and the highlight and the moon halo is well, there's just nothing there in the highlights. So
more control.
More control, yes, in the highlights and shadows.
Thank you very much. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 77. You're all very close together. Greg, could we have a comment from you?
I think that a little bit more can be done with the colour palette, particularly through that water, and possibly a couple of compositional changes, just slight changes of angle would have helped as well.
Thank you very much. Next print, please. Thank you, judges. If we can put our scores in promptly, we're going to save time for conversation. Thank you. We have a silver award, 82. And Nuran, a comment?
The beautiful image deserved in silver, and but I think it's if it's the shadows managed a bit better, and if we have a bit more details in the shadows, would have been much better image.
Thank you very much. Now, judges, we're due for a rotation. Ladies, do you need a break, or are you happy to stay on? Okay, and Craig, so if we can get Ollie to come in for you, thank you very much. So we're having Ollie Dale from New Zealand joining us. Thank you. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score, we have a majority score of 80, and we do have another automatic challenge, and Ollie has triggered it on a score of 66, so we've got 84, 82, 81, a 74 and a 66, so a very healthy use of our score ranges. Good to see. And so I will start the challenge with Ollie, who'll speak first. You won't get a right of reply, so if you can speak about what you saw, then we will hear from Kay and from Nuran.
Okay, so talk me up. When I got up there, I enjoyed the overall.
Ollie, just talk right into the microphone.
Really
we'll adjust it from here.
Okay. I enjoy the overall aesthetic of it, and I enjoy the colour palette, but I was let down by the print quality. I felt like there was detail there that should have been there that wasn't, which would have really taken me into that place and given me a reward for enjoying what the author had given. And I just felt that it took it out of professional practice for me. So talk to me. I'm open to listen and willing to hear what you have to say.
Thank you very much. Kay on 82.
Yeah, it's probably I guess that softness or subtle lack of detail that was holding me back a little bit. I've scored it in the low silver. What I enjoy about the image and what I think the photographers brought, which is the vision in terms of what they're seeing. Those little sparks of green, life in the dead, dry trees around. So there's a little bit of, the photographers thought about what they're actually seeing and captured it quite nicely, and that's why I put in Silver Award.
Thank you very much. And Nuran, thank you.
I mean, I agree with Kay, and she almost, she stole all my words. But I quite enjoy the print quality as well, and I don't think we need anything better than this for this image, for being a silver, where we're staying right now. But the color palette is beautiful, and everything's work harmoniously, and the composition is actually it is a texture, and represented us with a very beautiful way and good time of the day, and lighting is correct, and everything chosen is perfectly work for this image, and I think it's a silver.
Thank you very much. Now, the majority score previously was 80. As it is an automatic challenge, you are all free to move your scores. Having listened to the debate, please rescore now. Thank you. We have a silver award, 81. Thank you. Next print, please. Thank you. Scores, please, judges. Thank you. And we have a majority score of 85 with an automatic challenge. Thank you. We're getting good at these, aren't we? So Ollie is on 75. You've got 88, 88, 86 and 81. So we will hear from Ollie and then Jackie and then Kay.
It's funny for me because I'm usually the generous one, and I've just come in under generous twice in a row. For me, it was a missed opportunity because I can see like 2 or 3 separate stories here that if it was one of them, I would have gone a lot higher, and I couldn't see the connect. I didn't get the connection between all the elements, or other than that they're verticals, which is a strong graphic. I just felt like it was a missed opportunity talking to me, and I gave it a 75. So again, I'm willing to listen to what you guys see in giving it an average of 85. So talk.
Thank you. So we're going to Jackie.
This is very like a Michael Kenner image, but it's not square. But the thing that let it down for me, I've given it a silver, low silver, is the, I think the photographer could be helped with the fact that the sky is so muddy against this beautiful snow. I just find that very, very distracting.
Thank you, Jackie. Kay on 88.
Yeah, I absolutely love the graphical nature of the image. What kept it going for me, going to gold, was the sky in terms of that mudiness. But that's actually only kept me going to gold. What I enjoy about the image is the way that it's like musical notes going through the image, and you're actually taken on a journey through the pathway. All these little vertical lines are taking you on the little journey up to the top, and you're actually rewarded at the top of the hills with these tiny little poles that are poking up from the top, from the other side. So it's about the journey, and it's about man's interaction and or imposition on nature. So I think this works on a high level of communication. And as I said, the only thing that stopped me going to gold was I felt that the sky was probably a little bit imbalanced and too heavy with the foreground.
Thank you. Nuran or Greg, do you have anything to add? Your scores are speaking for themselves. So the majority score was 85, and as it is an automatic challenge, you are all able to move your scores. Having listened to the debate, please rescore now. And it goes to 86, silver with distinction. Thank you. Next print, please. So just for our audience, it's very important because quite often finalists in the category are only half a point or 1 point away that gets them to be a finalist and eligible to win that category. So it's the top 3 portfolios in each category that then get judged by a completely separate team of judges, and of those top three top scoring portfolios, then the Professional Photographer of the Year is chosen within that category. And then each of the category winners go towards being reviewed as the overall Professional Photographer of the Year. Scores, please, judges. Thank you. We have a by majority score of 84. Yes, you can, Jackie. You're on 90. Jackie's going to challenge. You've got an 88, 84, 83, 82.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm really enjoying the story in this image, and the sheep that got away up in the top left-hand corner, and the shaft of light coming across the green patch of grass. I think it's a beautifully balanced picture, and the texture of the vineyard. I was looking at the dark patches in there, but it works. It really is a beautiful image. It's well balanced and well deserving of a gold.
Thank you. Next, we're going to hear from Greg on 82.
I just have a little bit of an issue with placement, I suppose, of that green square. Maybe I'm being a little tough on it. Happy to reconsider. Thank you.
Thank you. And Ollie?
Yeah, my first impression was that placement idea as well, but for me, the location of where that is, it gives it the ability to have the depth, the three-dimensional feel to it. If it was central, it would feel awkward. I think with that one runaway sheep or goat, whatever it is, there's a little patch of green up the top left. It's almost like they're on a mission to eat everything green in the universe. And he's like, oh, we missed one, and he's taken off. And that humor is amazing in the storytelling itself. But then the lighting is what brings us up. I was chicken at 88. I'm going to gold because this is a superior piece of visual communication. The timing is there, the construct is there, and the humor is there. And that, to me, is a gold as well.
Thank you. Back to you, Jackie.
Well, I think, Ollie, you've said it all. I mean, the narrative is there, and it just needs a nice gold colour. Okay.
Thank you. Jackie's score of 90 is locked in. The current majority score was 84. Judges, please rescore now. Unanimous. Gold award, 91. Thank you. Next print, please. Jackie, can you just check your scores coming to us, please? Thank you. We have a silver award 81. Sorry, would you like to challenge? You can if you want. No, it's only 5 points away. Yeah. All good. Everyone happy? So we just need a comment from one of the judges. Greg, thank you.
Beautiful tonality. Maybe just the narrative of the subjects, foreground and background, might need to be a little clearer.
Thank you very much. A couple of other judges nodding. Well, thank you. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 74. And Ollie, a comment to help the photographer?
There's lots of good things about this, but I think that what the message that comes across to me is that the photographer doesn't know what they're trying to say with their image. The storytelling is not quite there. There's no kind of real point. There's a lot of interesting elements, but the narrative just falls apart.
Thank you very much. And next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 78. And Ollie would like to challenge. Thank you. Ollie's on 83. You've got an 81, a 78, two 75s.
To me, this is better than professional practice because there's a very concise piece of communication and considered in the sense that that fallen twig on the left has been either left there or placed there in order to tell the story of this tree. It's seen a few winters. It's in one of its very last winters before this thing finally is gone forever, and this is its last stand. And I felt that communication I got from this story took me above professional practice and took me into a world of imagination and communication that was deserving of a silver.
And Kay on 75.
Yeah, when I sat back here initially when this print turned around, I thought, wow, this is actually really beautiful. I'm enjoying it more back here than I do when I go up there. I think for me, it's a missed opportunity because this has so much potential. The highlights are actually blown out in the tree. I want to see a little bit more detail in the tree. What I also want to see, which is actually so subtly there, I think it needs more definition, is a matte overlay to actually keep your eye where it's meant to be, which is in that central part where the image itself is. So that's why I've put it in professional standard. It has huge potential, but it's just not doing it for me.
Thank you. Jackie, briefly on 81.
Yeah, I hear what you say, Kay, and I'm with you in some respect, but it was such an intriguing image. I put it in a low silver because it is quite beautiful. But certainly a matte would certainly help this image.
Thank you. Back to you, Ollie.
Yeah, I think for all the reasons you've said, that's why I didn't go into gold, because this has that potential of a powerful piece of communication. The author hasn't quite realized it to its full potential, but I actually enjoy the fact that it's left in this negative space all the way around it, because I don't want to constrict this tree. This is the only tree for miles around, and it's in a complete whiteout in this winter, and it's brutal. There is a brutal piece of communication that I think a matte would have just hemmed me in, and I enjoy the space and the imagination that it gives me, and for that it's a piece of communication at silver.
Thank you. Ollie's score of 83 is locked in. The current average is 78. Judges, please rescore now. And by majority, it receives a score of 79. So it will go for review at the end of the category. Thank you. Nuran, we're going to keep rotating you out. Peter Eastway is going to come back and join us. Thank you very much. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 77. Peter, a comment?
I love the colour palette in this. It's wonderful. Again, just look at the tonality. Where does the eye go? And the foreground is a lot lighter than the sky and the top. And I just think a tonal remapping will get us all on the same page.
Thank you very much. Next print, please. Thank you. We have by majority a score of 85, silver with distinction. Thank you. Kay, a comment to let the photographer know what you liked about
Yeah,
this
I'm not sure I've got anything in terms of constructive to add that the photographer could add to it. I think it's just a beautifully seen image. Maybe just pulling the highlights down in the middle section in the waves, and maybe darkening the top right. That's comment.
Okay, subtle. So some subtle changes. Thank you. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 72. And Greg, could you make a comment to help the photographer?
I think the photographer has been very brave in going with a kind of a very graphic technique, but you still have to have attention to good composition, and at the moment it's quite confused. So I suggest that just a little bit more focus on the message you're trying to get across.
Thank you very much. Next print, please. So just to let everyone know, this is the landscape category single capture that we're currently judging, and our sponsor for this category is Fuji. Thank you so much for your support. Scores please, judges. Thank you. We have an average score of 80, silver award. Thank you. Kay, a brief comment.
Great image. Just probably maybe a little bit more control in the sky, just on the left-hand side.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Craig. Next print, please. Thanks, Jackie. Thank you. We have a gold award at 91. And I'm sure the entrant, Peter, is going to let the entrant know what you saw in it.
No, I'm going to challenge.
Oh, you're going to challenge. Okay.
The only
My
reason I'm going to
apologies.
challenge, and I'm manipulating the system a little bit because there can be 1 point in there.
Correct.
We all went straight to, there are 4 of us up there on golds.
Yes.
I'm on 93. I'd love it to get 92 because, or 93, just because, we all went there so quickly, and there is a perceived advantage for someone like me talking the picture up. I scored at 93. I believe it should be there at 93. I just think that we should have a little bit of time to sit with the picture. I think the new topographics photographers, I'm thinking of Lewis Boltz, I think it was, would be enamoured with a colour version of what they did 40 odd years ago. I think it takes the idea of minimalist, of banal photography to a new level. The use of colour is just simply superb. The composition is extremely sophisticated. It is a very, very worthy gold award.
Thank you. And Jackie, on 84?
Well, I had my finger on the 90, and then it's unresolved at the top for me, but I will go up. It's an amazing image.
Thank you. And Kay, on 94.
Now I should have pressed the 9, but I have actually judged this print before.
Right.
but and I've scored at 94, and I feel exactly the same now as I did when I first judged them previously. I think what's tips that over for me is what we're seeing is everything that Peter has said. What I'm not sure whether the other judges have actually seen. There's actually some figures in this scene, which really we see all the houses. We see all multitude of houses there, but at first glance we miss the human element of what's there. But there are very delicately placed figures within the landscape, which to me actually tip it over the edge of that whole visual communication. The colour palette, the tone, is absolutely sublime, and it's everything within that gold range. I'd like to see it come up a few more points if we can get it. Remarkable technique, visual communication, creativity, interpretation. It actually speaks volumes around that whole thing. So yeah, if we can push it up a couple more points, great.
Thank you very much. Peter, your right of reply, or has Kay done it for you? Thank you. Peter's score of 93 is locked in. Other judges, having listened to the debate, are free to move as you would like. The current average is 91. And it does go to 94, Gold Award. Which means it will also go for review. So it may get one more point still. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ollie. Thank you, Naran. Next print, please. Thank you. We have a by majority score of 84. And Peter is going to challenge. He's on 93. You've got an 87, 2 83s and an 84.
Okay, I take a slightly different view in that it's just my role to tell you what I saw in the picture, and then it's up to you guys to work out what you think. But to me, this is all about print quality. This is, when you get up there, I mean, it's a pity the picture is so small because I'd love to see this bigger, but there's such an exquisite amount of detail from the bottom which just disappears, and I don't know whether the audience gets to see that, but that tonality in there, just, it's like a musical score as you go from left to right and up and around. And I look at it and I put it in the Gold Award for the craftsmanship. It's incredibly imaginative as well. Yes, we've seen similar genres, etc., but I commend it for its print quality alone, and that's what really excited me. Beautiful print.
Thank you. Greg on 83.
Yes, I scored at 83. It's definitely an award. I am struggling to put it a lot higher. There's, I suppose, just a little bit of an issue with the overall narrative to me. I mean, I can read the simplistic part of it, so maybe I'm missing something here, and I'm very happy to keep listening, Peter.
Thank you. And could we hear from Kay on 87?
Yeah, again, I have actually judged this image before, and I think I actually am going to move up to gold, because there's an emotional quality that I'm picking up in this image, and it's because of the it's because of the craft that's actually captured in the image. That the detail is absolutely just perfect. There's nothing wrong with this image. I can't fault it. That subtlety, it speaks to me emotionally. The delicateness, it's just beautiful. So I think definitely I'm bringing up to gold.
Thank you. Peter, your right of reply. Okay, he's done that for you. Thank you. Peter's score of 93 is locked in. The current majority score is 84. Judges, please rescore now. We have a gold award, 92. Thank you very much. Next sprint, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 78. And yes, Kay, thank you.
I think just work on the tonal control on the image. I think that the main subject is actually quite dark and heavy, and the sea is a little bit too light, so keeping the balance a little bit better.
Thank you very much. Next sprint, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 79. As the scores are quite close together, it will go for review. Could we have a comment, please? Peter, thank you.
Sometimes we get seduced by the mirror image, but I guess it's when you go into the middle of that mirror, there needs to be something, and I feel that's what's let it down for me, is that in the middle of the image, there's nothing there for me.
Thank you very much. And judges, you'll be delighted to know that you're going to get a morning tea break. So it's 10:30. Could everyone please be back in the room at 11:05, and we will recommence the judging shortly after that. 11:05, go and enjoy your coffee. There is a judges break room just a couple along if you haven't found it yet. And go into the trade show. Please go and see Fuji and thank them for being our category sponsor. Thanks, team.